often find myself curious and confused about how the general Filipino public is responding to a lot of this propaganda. Because, for one thing, like I've mentioned before, I have like a maybe more of a vested interest in the Philippines because I grew up going there. I have family there. My mom is from there. So it's a very real country to me. And sometimes the rhetoric from the West, they don't consider that the Philippines really being used as a pawn for the US is in such a precarious position. So sometimes they're a little bit flippant about, oh, the Philippines is the next Ukraine. This is the fear, obviously. But I think I don't understand how the Filipinos themselves, like whether or not they are falling for this Western media propaganda, because even in terms of framing the Philippines as a victim in the South China Sea, the West Philippine Sea, and all this sort of provocation, this language that is provocative, it just like when you actually break down, if you didn't know anything about geopolitics and you just break down what they're saying like China's using water
Mm.
cannons, while the Philippines has 9 US military bases, as we've discussed, and Typhoon missiles, right? The
Yeah.
Typhoon, that is so much worse than water cannons. Like, even though, water cannons obviously can cause damage, but I'm just like, why is there still this belief that they're the victim in this scenario? Like, I guess my question is one, how? But also, is this anti China rhetoric and sentiment working on the general Filipino people?
To be very frank with you, sad to say, when you talk about China, there's this perspective and I think feeling of anti-China sentiment in the Philippines. That is very obvious and that is also very felt. But I would not say that the whole Philippines has this kind of sentiment or the all Filipinos they have this sentiments across the Philippines or even Filipinos abroad. I don't think so. I think there is a segment in the Philippines and some sectors in society that they have this anti-China sentiments very much vocal in different social media. And I think it most of this animosity or some kind of feeling of anti-China or anti-China sentiments to a greater extent is a product of twisted media coverage of South China Sea issue. And if you look at the Philippines, it's because supposedly, Eliana, the media should be responsible in explaining delicate and very complex issues like the South China Sea. But the problem in the Philippines, to be very frank, is not all media, like the mainstream media, is first, I don't think the reporters or those people who write about the news in South China Sea understand the complexity of the South China Sea issue. They cannot even have a distinction between sovereign right and sovereignty, which is many Filipinos, when they read the media will project like we have sovereignty in the disputed area. When in fact, if you really study on clause and even the 2016 arbitral award, there's no such thing. You have exclusive economic zone, which basically it's all about sovereign rights. But there's a big difference between sovereignty and sovereign rights and territorial waters and international waters. So this kind of subtopics that has something to do with the dispute in the South China Sea, I don't think all media practitioners writing about the South China Sea, they understand that. So when they write the news or whatever is happening in the South China Sea, Filipinos would read and it becomes like imprinted in their minds that we have sovereignty in that area and we own the area. So it seems like China is bullying us in our own territorial waters, when in fact that is not the truth. So there is a manipulation of narrative in the mainstream media. I'm not saying all reporters are like that, but most of them, because many of our mainstream media in the Philippines are co-opted by the Western media, especially by the Americans in many ways. So that is one big problem. And also the problem also with Filipinos sometimes is when they read the news or they watch the news on TV, they don't have this energy or I think there is no habit to dig deeper. You need to dig deeper about the issue and try to be educated. I think with the kind of hard life that many Filipinos are going through at the moment, they don't have the time. Maybe they don't also have that level of education to understand very complex issue that has something to do with legal issues and many geopolitics and all that. So this is the second one. And the third one is it depends on the president as well. Because if the president stand and approach to the South China Sea issue is more confrontational and more assertive and probably belligerent, especially let us say towards China, so you expect that the government statements are also blurry and sometimes not in necessarily accurate. And of course, the propaganda machine of the government also works to that effect, trying to weaponize the South China Sea issue against China and trying to, how do you call that, demonize China in the Philippines. So if you put this together, you would understand why there is such a thing as anti-China sentiments relatively high in terms of percentage in the country. But at this time, because probably of some people like myself who's trying to explain the issue in a way that is educational and for people to open their minds that this is a complex issue. You cannot have a black and white on this, and there's a other claimant states this is a regional issue. I think many Filipinos are already educated about the South China Sea. So in terms of that kind of anti-China sentiments, I don't think at this time dominates the public opinion or public discourse at this time. That one I can tell you. Of course, there are still other people who would criticize China, demonize China, but I think the wider middle class and even the intellectuals, to a certain extent, I can feel and I see it in my social media that they understand and they're now have this kind of level of understanding that this is a complex issue, that we cannot just demonize China and become anti-China precisely because of the South China Sea. And there is also the presence of American propaganda. And I think many Filipinos now understand that there are elements, American elements or pro-American elements in the Philippines who are trying to propagate such anti-China sentiment in the Philippines. And even the CIAs are very active in my country at the moment. So I think Filipinos are aware precisely because there are people who are trying to educate them through social media, especially Facebook and Twitter. So now there's a change in terms of public discourse. However, I would say that the anti-China sentiment is also reinforced precisely because if you look at the Marcos Jr. administration, look at the even our defense secretary, Marcos Jr. himself, and other elements in his government, they are parroting anti-China sentiments. And also, not only the South China Sea, there's also this dynamics that all Chinese who are in the country, who are visiting the Philippines, are spies doing espionage. So I'm like, so do you really think all Chinese who are in the Philippines doing tourism business and all that are spies? So what if the Filipinos who are in China also would be accused of the same thing? You know, this is also happening. So it's in media and it's government officials who are, propagating this. So you would understand why the anti-China sentiment in the Philippines has that kind of traction. However, one thing also that you have to remember, the Philippines is a traditional ally of the United States. And at the same time, when it comes to affinity, I think the Filipinos are quite close to the United States and they idolize America or anything that is American, which is kind of a colonial mentality that I think the Filipinos has to unlearn. Precisely because if they really look at the United States, there's so many things that's not good about the United States. And I can tell you many things about it. And also Filipinos also, I think they forgot a certain part of our own history as a country that even before the colonization time, even before the time of the Spaniards, the Philippines and China already have ties and already have that close affinity in terms of trade and even, relationship. And that part of our history, the pre-colonial history, is not necessarily highlighted even in school. And I think that is the challenge actually for Filipinos, for people like me to educate our young generation that, before the colonizers came and colonized the Philippines, the China and the Philippines already have good relation and we already coexisted. And there's no problem with the South China Sea issue. Everyone in the region coexisted, prosper, and had good relations, especially when you talk about trade. And that part of history has to be revisited, I think, as one way also of trying to reflect of how to manage the conflict in the South China Sea. So this is pretty much Philippines at the moment when you talk about public discourse that has something to do with the South China Sea. But now I'm telling you, Ilyana, it does not dominate the public discourse. Not too much.
Mhm.
Not too
That's
much.
so
Yeah.
interesting. That's so hopeful because the Tricontinental Research Institute, their dossier on hyperimperialism, it categorizes the Philippines as a de facto US military colony. That
Mm.
categorization makes sense. So when I see the Filipino people like internalizing this colonial mentality, it's so infuriating and it's so wrong. And I'm doing so much more work now on this podcast about how colonialism and imperialism purposefully underdevelops the countries that it seeks
Mm.
to control. And so pragmatically, the Philippines needs to develop. And in order to develop, it needs to get out of this shackles of US imperialism and it needs to work with China.